So I made a bad song, but I'm not going to throw it away. I'm actually going to fix it. For this video, I am going to start working on the lead synth. I'm going to do some sound design, and then I'm going to make some new patterns, and that will just give me more stuff to work with. I might not use them in the final song, but they'll be useful in the short term, just to figure out what to do with some of the other instruments. So I replaced my polymer synth with Arturia Pigments. This is just my favorite soft synth at the moment. I find it very easy to work with, and it sounds really nice without any effort on my part. So I'm using the analog engine here. I like how simple it is. What I did was I added unison and I added some oscillators at different octaves just to thicken the sound up a bit. Now I'm just playing around with stuff to see if I find something I like. Pigments has a lot of different filter types, and the difference could be subtle. So sometimes I just hop around between them and see what I like. I also play around with the cutoff slopes. So if you have a higher slope like 24 dB, it'll cut out more of the high-end frequencies. If you have a lower slope like 12 dB, it'll be a little bit more buzzy, but you have a slightly richer sound. Adding the most basic filter envelope. Now I'm just going to add some effects. I pretty much always add chorus on leads. I might remove it later, but it's the first thing I add. And then normally some kind of reverb or delay. Delay always sounds good when you listen in isolation, but once it's in the mix, it can make things a little bit too busy. So I do spend some time tweaking feedback, just make sure it rings out enough that it's a real delay, but not enough that it's going to be around forever and kind of muddy up other sounds. Fun fact, shorter time means you can have longer feedback and it won't last as long. So you get more of a delay effect, but since it cuts off fairly quickly, it doesn't linger too long. If you know me, you know I like things to be pretty buzzy, so gotta add some distortion. I just like it when things growl a bit. That's what it sounds like in my soul. I'm gonna add a second synth engine here, just to add a little bit of movement to the sound. I don't normally use wavetable synthesis, just because I like, I don't know, messing with sound waves from scratch, and I feel like I spend a lot of time browsing wavetables and not a lot of time making the sound, so I just don't tend to prefer it. But I was messing around here with different, more subtle wavetables, and it seemed like a really easy way to just like slap on an LFO and get some movement. Just going to modulate the wavetable position with my LFO. And I changed it to free running because I don't want it to be part of the sound. So I don't want the LFO to start at the same spot every time you push a key. I just want it to keep going to provide movement. So I think I ended up with something pretty nice here. The main analog engine kind of drives the sound, then there's just a little bit of waviness in the background. So next I'm gonna thicken this up by just adding notes at different octaves. There's a lot of ways we could do this. I could just add notes to the piano roll or copy the instrument or whatever, but I'm gonna play with this multi-note device that Bitwig has. This is gonna let me have one input note, but then it's actually gonna trigger a whole bunch of different notes that can be transposed different amounts, can have different velocities, and you can even set the chance that they actually play. So now I'm modulating volume coming out of the filter with velocity. And I'm going to use the velocity, the multi-notes, to determine which octaves are louder and quieter. So now I'm just tweaking the velocities at each octave and seeing what it sounds like. Actually going to recenter this, so instead of being at 0, -12, and -24, I'll have 0 in the center and I'll have a +12 and a -12. You can see this on the multi-note device, the bottom left. And finally, I'm gonna add vibrato when I apply aftertouch on my keyboard, because I'm actually gonna play some melodies on my keyboard, come up with some ideas, and it's just more fun to play when you have aftertouch. And after spending a bunch of time learning how to play my own song, I start recording some melodies. Oof. I'm gonna edit this manually. Now I'm right back to just programming in the MIDI, because that's my nature. I like that. Now I'm going to edit the aftertouch MIDI channel just so I can program in the vibrato. It's fun to play, but I do like precision in my finished works. Not that this is anywhere near finished. More patterns. I always kind of build up to something wild like this, where there's just a bunch of notes and it gets really high pitched. It's just a habit, I guess. As usual, this is just a mix of adding random notes and kind of hearing things in my head. Gotta get them bendy boys all over the place. Just gonna adjust the low octave over here because it's a little bit aggressive. And then automate it so it's still there for the higher notes. Gonna work on the transition between these patterns. I'll end up swapping the patterns later, so all my plans just fall apart. You'll see. So at this point, I'm just trying to make a bunch of different patterns that I can play with, probably modify later. Really just trying to avoid having, you know, that blank canvas effect where you don't know what to do next because there's nothing there. So the best parts of these patterns will probably survive until the end of the song, but the weak will be destroyed. I'm perfectly fine just throwing shit away. It's just part of the process. I'm a programmer by trade, so my general philosophy is first make it work and then make it good. I kind of apply that to music too. Just like get a bunch of stuff down and then make it good over time. Hence this video series, Let's Fix a Bad Song, also known as my normal process. I'm gonna make one more pattern doing this kind of fast, high-pitched thing. And then that's probably it for the lead for now. I think it's time to kind of fill out some of the other instruments and make them more interesting. I edit around on these notes as if it's like a useful exercise to see, because my process is hear something, then adjust it, then hear it, then adjust it. So each note kind of contributes to the finished product, even when that note's wrong and I don't end up using it. I'm not sure if it's actually valuable to people watching. All 7 of you. 4 of those are actually me. I'm writing this like it's gonna be kind of like the lead's climax. Now, like I said before, I worked on those transitions and then I just flipped the patterns around, destroying those transitions. All right, that's all the work I'm gonna do in the lead for now. The synth sound is a bit better. I'll probably still work on that some more later, but I do have a lot more patterns to work with. I kind of got a vibe here at the end of the song. That should make it easier to work on the other instruments and maybe come up with cool things for them to do. And then I'll go back to the lead and kind of make space for those other cool things. This is still a bad song. The new stuff I wrote isn't great either. It's just, you know, what I made. So we'll keep working on this and it'll get better over time. And maybe someday it'll be good. We'll see. Just like last time, there's a fully uncut version of this video also available. There's a link in the description. This is going to be the last shortened video that I make, so I'm only going to put up the uncut videos from now on, but I'll probably do a summary every couple videos that kind of goes over what I did. I'm not going to show you every little note that I moved and every little thing that I tweaked, but I will explain what I did in a format shorter than 2 hours per video, which is a bit much. So stick around. I may live stream the uncut videos just because it'll be fun and that's less editing that I have to do later. It'll just automatically be on YouTube. So let me know what you think and stick around if you like this series. Peace.